Welcome, Maple Mafia members, to the 10 at 10 for June 6th of 2023.
Hey guys, I'm Tim, that's my brother Matt. We're MrMaple.com. We add 10 new plants to our website every single Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
He's lying, it's 20.
So you can actually shop these plants at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, plus 10 if you sign up for that weekly email. So guys, you know, we've got some really cool plants out here today. Check us out on MrMaple.com, but I mean, there's so many awesome plants out here.
Fact check, correct. There are a lot of awesome plants out here. Let's get into it, guys. This is the June 6th, 10 at 10. You know we bring it on our 10 at 10s. We've got a lot of cool plants here. Guys, we got some bigger sizes and some cool things out here on the table today. And shout out to our international community. We still count you as part of our Maple Mafia if you subscribe, but unfortunately we can't ship to you unless you're in the continental US right now. We can ship to Alaska and Hawaii once we're out of leaf.
So guys, let's get started with this 10 at 10. I mean, we try to bring it each and every week. I guess we'll start down here. We've got some really awesome 6-gallon gossamer, as you can see down here on the other side of the table, down there on the ground. It is a really cool Acer japonicum hybrid that is almost like a lace leaf, but it's a japonicum, super slow growing, one of the slowest growing Acer japonicum selections. And it's rare that you ever see gossamer available this size and available this size for shipping.
Not much awesomer than a gossamer. We're sending these right to your doorstep too. We had Billy Schwartz, the man who named us himself, at the nursery a few weeks ago. And shout out to Billy, really fun guy. He always brings the energy, and there's nothing like a Billy Schwartz story. If you haven't already, go listen to that podcast we did with Billy Schwartz. We talk about red maple nursery, Muhammad Ali, and a lot of stuff. So check that out. Gossamer, probably one of his best introductions. I mean, you might include this one in the Red Maple Nurseries. He was the apprentice to Dick Wolf, so it's in that Red Maple Nurseries list as well. Incredible fall colors. This one gets yellows and reds and oranges all at the same time. It's not uncommon for it to be intensely like neon yellow with red borders. It is a showstopper of a tree. Being that it has that interesting habit too, it almost looks like a lace leaf, but it's all grown in that tight, dense form. It's almost like you combined a japonicum with like a macawa family type, and then also a lace leaf. Like, it's so funky. It brings it in every single season. We're shipping some massive ones out right now as well. These are huge, guys.
Yeah, so Billy was walking around Red Maple Nurseries, and under what Red Maple Nurseries had as an aconitifolium, he found this as a seedling growing in the ground. I mean, cool history behind it, but a really cool plant, and it's so uniquely different, and it fits in so many small spaces because it is one of the slowest growing Acer japonicum selections out there. And so, again, these are some killer sizes on some 6 gallons.
From a dwarf lace leaf Acer japonicum to a great dwarf ginkgo. In the 2-gallon here, we've got Ginkgo biloba Munchkin, also sometimes referred to as Chris's dwarf.
Yeah, Chris's dwarf, known as Munchkin. I mean, that is a really small dwarf ginkgo with extremely small foliage. Again, this is a really slow growing plant, so these are some great size 2 gallons.
Yeah, you can lime these. They work great for bonsai. Munchkin, like Tim said, some of the smallest foliage in the entire ginkgo world. Makes it a really cool place for that fall color because it's so small and neat. Looks like a small upright tree, and they work great in the landscape as well. You want to give ginkgos at least 4 hours of sun to 5 hours of sun for their best growth rate. But this one is a perfect candidate for container gardening or for bonsai. Those tiny foliage would look so cool. And it just has everything you love in a large ginkgo tree, all packed into a small package.
So guys, next up on the table, we've got Acer palmatum watumka red. This is a selection from Alabama. Some people credit this to Paul Lowe with Paul Lowe's nursery, and some people credit this to Harold Johnston. The truth is it's probably somewhere in between, because I know Paul bought Harold Johnston's nursery at one point as well. And this is an upright red that holds its color in the deep south in high heat situations and is one of the better upright reds for doing that.
Note to self, don't tell Tim what you're going to say before the video or your little brother will steal it. Awesome heat tolerant red. I find this to be one of the most durable trees you can be growing there in the deep south, and an excellent selection. I mean, great fall colors too. Oranges and reds in the fall color can get a really picked up color to it. Typically around 12 to 15 feet, even in a 10-year period, so a good growth rate. Makes a really nice heat tolerant tree, especially for the deep south.
Yeah, guys, pair this with a summer gold. Yeah, I said it. Pair this with a yellow and you're gonna get some crazy colors, contrast out there in the landscape and garden.
Yeah, he said it. All right, guys, next up we got Shiryu no Sume. This is an awesome Acer bouldy anim cultivar. I'm a huge fan of what this does, guys. This one, you know, Shiryu no Sume means claw of the dragon, and I don't know if I've seen a more perfectly named tree. This tree, all the leaves look like claws. It's really cool whether it's in its green shades right now or whether it's wearing some bold red, orange in the fall. It looks really unique.
Guys, the older growth is really awesome, but the new growth on this thing it looks really unusual and different. Every single leaf is slightly different on this plant, especially on the new growth. I mean, this is such a unique, almost Acer Ceboldianum hybrid with like a Linear selection. I mean, you get those really elongated foliage, and it's Acer Ceboldianum, so you get some excellent fall color with this tree as well.
I mentioned the reds. I've had this thing be neon orange in the fall, which was really unique. I love that leaf shape. The texture it brings to the garden as a small upright that tends to be dense and full. I think it's so unique. I think more people should be looking through seeds of this too for the genetics. We've had some massive ones of these available in person, our 10 gallons. But guys, we're shipping some really nice 1 gallons out right now. So if you're a cold weather collector, pick up a Shiryu no Sume. It's a great way to add some Ceboldianum to your collection.
Speaking of Linear selections, next we've got a red Linear selection called Red Spider.
Check out our video on what is a Linear Japanese maple. So guys, Red Spider brings it all as well. This is a unique cultivar, dark red foliage, really kind of a soft brown bark to it as well that really plays off that color. Gives you everything you love about Oriental gardening. It has that Asian Oriental garden feel to it. It brings that kind of aesthetic that just makes you think of an Asian garden because it has all those bamboo-like qualities, but tucked into a Japanese maple. So you're still getting that airy, wispy, kind of, you almost feel wind chimes when you look at this plant. It's kind of how it feels. Great plant to have in the landscape, but with all the benefits of a Japanese maple versus the invasiveness of bamboo.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for traditional Japanese gardening, the Linear selections are outstanding. They're one of the best selections for that because of that airy, wispy habit. But it also allows you to get in and prune and shape this tree and actually be able to see the structure of the plant even when it's in leaf. So if you really want to train and shape a tree and really be able to enjoy that structure year-round, you can do that with a Linear selection because those leaves are so thin that you can really get in there and see the branching even when it's in the leaf.
You know, a lot of our collectors and people that shop with us get into gardening to relax. I know a large percentage of collectors end up being doctors because they have stressful careers. I don't know of anything more relaxing than sitting and looking at a Linear. I mean, it just has a peaceful vibe to it. Really great plant to be adding in the landscape. And again, it's going to bring a whole new texture to the garden. You can pair this with anything else and it's going to look super unique. All right, guys, bonsai people, enthusiasts, and you know, people that aren't so good at bonsai too. We've got Nishikigawa back on the table.
Guys, Nishikigawa is really unique. It's the pine bark Japanese maple, and it gets a rough, fissured, like pine-like bark up and down this as this matures. And you're starting to see some of that pine bark already coming in on these 1 gallons. As this tree ages, it gets more and more. So it fills in, it gives the appearance of a really old tree on a younger plant. And that's really cool because out there in the landscape, it gives you that old aesthetic in the garden. But as a bonsai, that is extremely important because that's what you're doing is you're trying to make a small tree look like a really old plant. And that's one of the reasons it's extremely popular for bonsai.
One of my favorite ones of these that we've captured on our channel is at Maple Walk there in Charlotte. Tom Nunnenkamp's garden and Lib Nunnenkamp. They have one of these that's just exquisite. We got to go see it in some good fall color. And I love when you see an old mature tree like that because even the outer branches have that pine bark aesthetic going on. One of the distinguishing qualities for Nishikigawa is it looks a little bit more pine barking, where Arakawa is also a pine bark, but it looks a little bit more like alligator buckled skin. So you kind of get a little bit more buckled look to the bark on that one. And this one has a little bit more of that older pine bark fissured look.
Underrated for its fall color. You can really get some bright oranges to reds to almost highlighter pink reds in the fall on Nishikigawa. I mean, we always talk about the bark because that's its distinguishing characteristic, but it is an excellent, fantastic fall color Japanese maple as well.
All right, Vanna, why don't you tell them what we have up front here in the showcase?
Guys, next up, we've got some 2 gallons of Abies Binshanzuensis. This is one of the rarest conifers in the world. This plant is amazing. It's a rare fir, and you don't see these often available in the nursery trade. I know that our good friend Tom Cox was instrumental in getting this into the nursery trade, and he was able to get cuttings and then get them produced around. And we're super excited to be able to be offering AB's Binshansuensis, the Bishan Fur, for one of the very first times by mail order.
Guys, this is a cool plant. I know that Tom and Talon have told us this is one of the rarest conifers in the entire world, and really fun one to be growing here. However you say this great plant, it's one you should be adding to your garden, if nothing else for that really special novelty of that it's one of the rarest conifers on the planet, and it's super interesting too. I love the elongated needle look it has. It almost gives you palm vibes, or almost like hemlock vibes the way it looks on an AB's.
Now, if you listen to our podcast with Tom Cox, he goes in and talks more about this plant and its sort of story of how there were like 2 or 3 of this plant in existence, and now it's getting propagated, which is pretty cool. And it's awesome to actually make this tree available, even though it is one of the rarest conifers in the world.
And I'm going to jump on a soapbox for a second. I love that we got Tom on there. Our good friend Tom has passed now, but we have that treasure of that podcast with him, and he's such a wealth of knowledge. That's the kind of things we love to document, and it just wouldn't be the same if I didn't have Tom in it when I got to go see his garden. So if you haven't already, definitely check out that Tom Cox podcast. Leave a nice comment for Tom in the section below there. God rest his soul, an amazing man, and I learned a lot about plants for him. Maybe not how to say this one though. AB's Binshansuensis.
Awesome conifer though.
All right, guys, from one great conifer to another, we've got a weeping bald cypress, Falling Water. Now, this was named for the Frank Lloyd Wright home under the same name.
Now, Falling Water, we like to stake it up and then let it just cascade straight downward. I mean, this makes such a fun shape. I remember Dr. Creech did some really fun designs and circles and hinges with Falling Water. This is such a cool plant. Now, bald cypresses are awesome. They're a deciduous conifer. That means they drop their needles during the winter months. But the cool thing about, one of the really cool things about this is if you have a place in your garden that stays too wet to grow your Japanese maples, something like a Falling Water bald cypress can add that ornamental appeal even in those spaces that are too wet to grow a Japanese maple. And you get a really nice weeping tree. They really get some really nice bark interest too as this tree ages, being it's a bald cypress. It'll end up getting some of those knees too down at the base and that weeping umbrella habit that you love.
Not only can you put this one in wetter areas, this one can go fully in a pond. You can put this in a big container, drop it in a koi pond. It's going to be amazing. It's going to grow like crazy in there. And just such cool, resilient plants. You know, taxodiums like ginkgos are some of the oldest plants in existence still. It's a fun plant to be growing. It's durable as all get out. And just a fun plant. I mean, these are incredibly durable in sun or in shade. You can put it in a wet area, in a fairly dry area. It's going to take almost anything you throw at it. Although I will say they can use a good bit of water.
Yeah, it's an awesome plant that is very unique, just its unique shape. But like Mac talked about, you don't have to have a wet area to grow a bald cypress. They're often used as street trees because of their durability. And this one being an extremely ornamental appeal, adding that extra ornamental appeal with its weeping habit, it's pretty awesome. Guys, next up, we got Bling Bling.
Bling Bling. All right, break the gold chains out with the sparkling spinners. We got some bling going on, guys. We got a lot on the table for the bonsai people today. We got Munchkin, we got Nishigawa, and now we've got a neon yellow trident maple. So this one is one of the most colorful trident maples, especially in that early spring. It is bling blinging.
Guys, this is a trident maple we named here at Mr. Maple. It is part of the Area 51 collection. And this is a plant that gives you that lemon yellow color in the spring, bright lemon yellow. And it's so awesome. And, you know, with a name like Bling Bling, it really does add that bling in the garden.
Guys, you can literally put the sunglasses on looking at this one, especially in that early spring habit. This is a good grower, typically at over 1 to 1.5 feet of growth a year. Bling Bling does have a very nice canopy too that's very dense and full. So for a trident maple, it does tend to have, you know, a 10 to 12 foot tall tree is easily going to have a 6 to 8 foot canopy and a very dense canopy at that. Excellent fall colors as well. I've had reds, oranges, and yellows all in this tree at once. The city of Hendersonville's actually planted one around as a street tree. So durable as all get out with Bling Bling. And see if you can find one next time you're visiting downtown Hendersonville.
And some great sizes on these 1 gallons too. I mean, it's really shot up like a rocket on the Bling Bling. And it's a good, vigorous tree. Trident maples, they're really unusual and different. I mean, they have exceptional fall color. They're very durable. But as they age too, they get a unique bark interest that is kind of peeling, kind of flaking. And it's really cool. You get it mainly on the more mature trident maples. So once this tree's out there in the landscape, it adds that extra appeal.
Hey, if you got a hot blonde and she's not a gold digger and you got an anniversary coming up, give her some Bling Bling.
And we got one more tree down here in a 6 gallon.
Guys, there's some massive sizes out here today. Like we said, this is Acer palmatum Strawberry Spring.
Guys, Strawberry Spring is one of those plants that gives you some immaculate, bright, pink spring color. I mean, it's one of the best spring color maples that's out there. And then it fades to a pastel kind of color with lime green veining.
Guys, this is one of those new ghosts. So you've heard us talk about the Ghost series by Talon Buckholtz. This is one we throw in that category of new ghost. They share a lineage with the Ghost series, but Talon quit putting ghosts on them. So I think new ghost is a fun category to throw that collection into. And Strawberry Spring may be one of the most popular ones of that category. I know Guy Merlot of France said that Strawberry Spring and Celebration were two of his favorites Talon had ever done ever. And I mean, it brings it color-wise. This one is super showy. We recently shot a podcast on our top 50 pink Japanese maples. Tune in to see where this one falls.
Guys, it really is an extremely pink Japanese maple. For pink and reticulation, it has a pink like none other. And this is a plant to really put out there in the landscape to really add that extra spring boom with just that bright, bright pink color. And when it's in that pink color, there's nothing much else that can beat it. It's a pretty awesome plant.
Whether you're looking for giant shippable trees, rare zone 4s, ginkgos, bald cypress, we got it on the table today, guys. There's a lot of cool plants. This is just 10 of the 20 listing. Check your email, sign up on MrMaple.com so you can see the other 10 trees. Are they better than these trees? Maybe. So we'll see. Check that email to find out. There's some gold dropping, guys, and it ain't just Bling Bling. There'll be other amazing plants in there.
So guys, smash that like button. Thank you all for jumping in the live chat. Thanks for all of our international viewers, and take care.
God bless.
And have a great day.